Writers, we have learned about two important elements of poetry. We have learned to use our poet's eyes to see the world in fresh ways, and we've learned that line breaks can help bring out the music in a poem. Today, I want to teach you something else about poetry. Perhaps this is the most important thing of all. Poets must consider what is important to them, what matters to them, and what is close to their heart. That's why I wore my heart shirt today, because poets are like any other writers. They begin with things that matter. You've been writing about little treasures and other interesting items you've brought in from home. And yes, it's true that poets write about shells and rocks and safety pins and pine cones. That is true. But a poet is not given a pine cone and told, go write a poem. That's now not how it works. Poets, like all other writers, have to start with this question: what matters to me? Today, I'm going to teach you that writers think of a big idea or a big feeling, and then they find a small moment or an object or an image that holds that big feeling. I'm going to say that again. Writers start with a big topic or a big feeling, and then they find something small that represents it. It may be an object like a shell or a rock, or it may be a photo or a picture you have in your brain. Once they find that small thing that represents, they are ready to write a poem. So let me show you specifically what I mean. I'm going to use myself as an example. When I think about something big that matters to me, I have many things I love and care about. But what pops in my head is I really care about my nephews. And my youngest nephew, Sam, and I spend a lot of time together. And I could tell you a million stories about Sam and how much I care about him. But the one that came to me quickly is the one that happened most recently. Sam and I went to the zoo and saw the animals, and we're having a great time. And then Sam saw the stand where you could buy some food and feed a sheep. So I took his 5-year-old self over there and we bought some food. And I said, Sam, we're going to feed the sheep. And it sounded like a great idea, but he got a little nervous. So I held his hand out and I put my hand under it and we put the food in. And then the sheep came over and nibbled out of Sam's hand. When that started happening, he started giggling because it tickled, and he looked at me with those beautiful blue eyes, and I could just see how excited he was. So, my big feeling is the love I have for my nephew Sam, but I'm going to capture that by talking about a specific moment. That moment when Sam and I fed the sheep together at the zoo. That's what poets do. So I'm ready to write a poem now. I'm ready to write a poem about Sam and I feeding the sheep at the zoo. However, that poem captures the bigger feeling or the bigger topic I have, which is my love for him. Let's try this today. Maybe your teacher wants to try it together with you as a whole class, or maybe she's ready for you to try it on your own. Remember the steps. Think about a big topic or big idea, and then either think of a small moment, an image, or maybe even an object that captures that big feeling. We are poets. Let's go write some poetry.